course it had to be here. Out of all possible places, of course, here. Before hiding at the bar with a beer in my hand, sunglasses on my face, I whispered to Charles, "This is where your crazy sister found me." Still not sure how she pulled that one off. And where I was likely drugged. Cool, but I have to set up this gear now, so... I'm a nuisance. Got it. I'll just go hide over here then. You're not, but I also have to set up this gear now. I stick out my tongue at him as I move over to the bar. Beer. The bartender tilts his head at me. Please. He nods. No one wants anything to do with me today, huh? Jenny was behind the scenes getting ready herself. Not that I had seen her. I came here together with Charles straight from home. I had downed almost the entire pint in one go. Suddenly a loud static noise resonated from the small stage, then a loud microphone boom. Sorry about that. Testing, testing. I grinned at him. Go ahead, embarrass yourself. He taps the microphone a few times, then returns to his fiddling with wires. People had begun trickling in. I look at the hypnotic clock behind the bar. 15 minutes until it begins. I look at Charles's expression. Dead cold. I was hoping for some light. No major nervousness, so I could gloat, but he's entirely expressionless. How boring. The familiar feeling of intoxication slowly started to set in. Another one. Please. You're welcome. The golden malt once again met my lips. Delicious. Soon it was time. Charles and Jenny had stepped onto the small stage. Spotlights hit them right in the face. Starting to regret it? I sure hope so. Hey everyone, I'm Charles. This is Jenny. We've been a duo for just a few weeks, right, Jenny? Something like that. But that's alright. I know Jenny can deliver at the very least. Hey now, I wasn't too nervous, but when you put it like that... We'll do fine, anyway. Jenny, why don't you tell them what we have in store tonight? Alright, so tonight we prepared only 3 original songs, the rest are covers. I believe we decided to start with the covers and then ease into our originals, right, Charles? Yeah. Well then. And so they began their performance. What is this? A bitter feeling spread like poison throughout me. Then a sliver of joy. Frankly, they blew me away. From the very start. I had seen glimpses of genius throughout my career, but never had been so up close, so genuine. I suppose I hadn't believed. I feel like I deserved to be put on the spot and made eat my words at this point. And it would sting. Oh, how it would sting. Why do I always end up like this? I knew Jenny had some kind of innate talent. Or was it just years of practice? Whichever it was, I could really tell the covers from their originals. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And the venue did them justice. Usually tends to be the other way around. It was as if they were meant for this. My heart. A jumbled mess to be sure. Mine must have been absorbed like a sponge by Jenny. It was obvious to anyone with even a slight eye for detail. The lessons that had been once drilled into my brain, I now directed towards her. I had already some kind of expectations for Jenny's performance. But Charles... Is this really the same Charles I know? The stupid oaf with the rancid jokes. The little boy plucking at the kid-sized guitar without a care in the world. The relentless world-class torturer. I wanted to cry. In a few minutes' time, I was. But that wasn't all. Them, the duo before me. A few weeks. You've known each other for a few weeks. Are you kidding me? Years, I would have believed, if not a lifetime. Exceeding my wildest expectations. And then I realized it. The harsh truth is sometimes certain things are just meant to be. The weeks went by. That evening I had seen something special. Sometimes you just know you're witnessing something great. In moments like those, all you can do is stand on the sidelines and watch it unfold before you. Cheer them on or don't. If you call them your friends, that'd be the natural thing to do. But my feelings were more complex than that. But I couldn't interfere. That's a typo. How would I even do so? Could I even do so? Did I even want to? Hypothetically, even assuming I really wanted to put a spanner in the works, would it have even mattered? Might have slowed them down, but would it have changed the outcome? All it would have done would be them discarding me as a friend. So I did the only thing I could do. I waited, observed, and watched them grow. They tirelessly played at various venues, motivated to the point of affecting the mood of everyone around them. Things were progressing quickly. Electric passion was in the air, and it left the observers on the sidelines starstruck. How could I possibly hold a candle to that? I didn't even have a tenth of the passion they had. Not for anything, ever. And that's why I now feel so utterly powerless, useless, pathetic. A storm was brewing on the horizon, the clouds dark and intimidating. With each day passing, warmth was leaving. Left was a girl feeling small. In contrast to the massive frosty world around her, she was insignificant. She believed she had the value of a filthy rag. Her name was Sophie, and she would soon turn frozen solid. I woke up peacefully just like any other day, and at a glance, it was a morning like any other too. But something was off. I knew as much the moment I opened my eyes. There was a feeling lingering in the air around me, something reminiscent of the feeling I'd get the night before a large event. It was as if I on some level knew that today, something big was coming. Your first thought might very well have been the same as mine. It's something bad. And to that I have nothing to say. It was impossible to tell. It could have been good just as much as it could have been bad, so I decided to spend no more energy reflecting upon it. Life had always led me towards somewhere, for better or worse, and I wasn't about to question or interfere. But I did have this strange feeling. It was now evening. A strange feeling indeed had been lingering in my stomach all day, and it was about to culminate into something. We had run across each other at the train station, Charles and I. Then we had stopped for a cup of smooth green tea at a cafe. I had a slice of cake alongside it. A pleasant end of the day, no doubt about it. Once satisfied, we headed home. We had been talking about my past and his future, how they'd intertwine, or how they might not. With Charles, important matters are often more than not told in stories brim with irony and convolutions. Smoke and mirrors had always been his default. The seriousness of this particular talk had been present from start to finish, despite being approached in a casual manner, just like always. Had he felt the same thing I had today, I wonder? The strange, lingering feeling. The bells had rang out across the main street of the town we've always called home, mesmerizingly, continuously, peacefully. It was like out of a movie. We both walked up to my house. Before it, we stood, our shoulders touching, first in silence. Go ahead. Hesitantly, he went up to our mailbox and retrieved the contents. He looked at it, then back to me, the mailbox still open. Snowflakes had begun to fall. They landed softly on his face, but he didn't flinch at all. They had also started to thinly coat the contents from the mailbox, now in his hands. Yet somehow, they seemed for some reason so distant from reality to him. His deep hazel eyes told me something. I knew it was something of significance, but I have, for as long as I've known him, not been able to crack his code, and I had my doubts about ever being able to. I only know when it's presented before me, never what it means. Unless he spoke in a simple manner meant for me to understand, I'd never be able to understand. I think he knew this, so I tilted my head at him. If you called out to me saying something ridiculous, saying something neither of us are ready for, then I could still close the door. He lowers his voice, now mumbling, eyes still locked with mine. Could I really? Or perhaps it's already too late. Did we miss our window? He tilts his head back at me. Doors, windows. I still don't understand, Charles. It might just be like that. If so, it's cruel. Life is cruel. After a moment's consideration, he quickly brushed off the contents from the mailbox. Let's go inside. We sat down at the table facing each other. It didn't take long for me to catch on. The situation didn't even require any words for me to understand. How to put it? It hit us like a blizzard in hell. That is, completely off guard and on some level deeply appreciated. For Charles, it had all led up to this. All his efforts, all his practice. Anyone would see this as a long overdue reward for for his work. Me, I couldn't help seeing it as a curse. For me, it was a curse. Of course, deep inside, I felt a sliver of joy for his sake. But a sliver is nothing to a mountain. In front of us is a letter. It's the kind you can tell from a glance that it's not just any letter. It's large, and it has been marked with an elaborate stamp that tells us its prestige. I nervously shift around my chair as we silently stare at the letter sitting on the table, untouched. I didn't even think they'd bother sending out a letter. You haven't realized. Or are you trying to soften the blow? But indeed, me neither. And that's why I fear for the worst. The reason being that it's far too nice a letter to be bearing bad news. I know this, but I can't seem to say a word. My mind is rushing, and it is focusing on one thing only. How do I change his mind about it all? And not soon. It has to happen now, before he even opens it. Once he opens it, I will lose him. I'm sure of it. Charles, please don't open it. I already feel tears forming in my eyes. So much for strategy. So much for not resigning to emotion. In the end, when all is said and done, I guess that I'm just a weak girl doing just that, resigning to emotion. He'll look at me with a serious look on his face as I hold back my tears. Now that makes me wonder, whose side are you truly on, Sophie? Don't be ridiculous. Tell me. I want to hear you say it. Yours, of course. Okay, I believe you. So, let's go over this, one thing at a time. First, you know how hard I've worked for this, so how can you still oppose it? I don't have an answer prepared, but so he goes on. Could it be that you never thought it'd actually come to this? That I wasn't good enough for it? I feel chills running down my spine, because I know that he's correct. He knows he is too, at least partially. My initial reaction is to defend my honor, but he's right, and I feel the shame in my soul. I never thought it'd come to this. I'm asking something impossible of him, and I know it. Yes, it's true. I didn't expect it to come to this. And I do know how hard you've worked. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be for this. If you go now, it means that... I can't finish my sentence. The lump in my throat won't let me. Charles looks at me for a few seconds without a word, then he stands up. So that's what it comes down to. He walks past me as I still stare at the letter in disbelief. I'd like to ask you, would you have done it if you hadn't been through everything you have? Would you have done it if you'd been through everything I have? Think about that one. He walks out the door. The house returns to absolute silence. I let a few streams of tears run down my cheeks, but I don't let the sadness consume me. I sniffle. Left on the table sits the letter, unharmed, unopened. Why? The answer is obvious. Because we both know what it means. Because we know the forked path he stands before. Just like the forked path I once stood before. Only he's heading in reverse. I leave it in its place, still untouched. I grab my coat and venture out into the cold myself. I need a break. Some time to think to myself. Thus I make my way towards the outskirts of the city. I head where I always head in times of confusion. I walk up the familiar hill. I observe the familiar scenery. It never changes. Ever. Up on the hill, the usual mound of snow is waiting for me, undisturbed. I lie down. I look at the sea of stars in the sky above me. I whisper to myself, "Why are you so angry, Sophie?" No answers. I look to the stars for answers. A voice identical to my own whispers in my ear. Because I'm about to lose my best friend. Because I know what he's about to go through. Because I'm not sure he'll be the same when he returns. And because I don't want to be alone. But they change people. Money changes people. It changes people. There's no doubt about it. Me, I'm lucky. I could have been one of them. One of the sheep, no problem. Different outcomes to certain events. I wouldn't be who I am. For starters, had I not received that letter that one day, there's no way I would have been able to hold shape. I would have been molded, like the rest of them, and I wouldn't have noticed or cared. You see, that's what scares me. You don't know until it's too late. Until your reality is something other than it used to be. Until your values change without your knowledge. Until you're just another sheep directed by the values and opinions of others. Until your worth is decided by them. Them, they, it, all of it. The industry, the performers, the fans. The components that allow the wheel to keep turning. So what are they? The industry, that is. Egotism's puppets. So what does that make us? The performers, that is. Vanity's puppets. So what does that make them? The fans, that is. Desire's puppets. So what keeps them all together? Artificial barriers of an invisible class system. My blood feels as if it's begun to boil, and I want to puncture the balloon of all that is fake in this world. My agitated words ring out across the hill. I realize I'm shouting to no one in particular. I've done this before, haven't I? Means I haven't changed, doesn't it? I look around me. All I'm surrounded by is snow and the wide view of the never-changing city of mine. The winter night is as empty as always. I've been part of a false reality. Furthermore, I helped construct the false reality and I helped it persevere. I feel disgust, yet at the same time relief. If I haven't changed, that means I'm the same person that put me on the right path again. Tell me, who am I? Tell me, how do I redeem myself? Tell me, can I even redeem myself? Tell me, do I even want to redeem myself? Tell me, how do I stop him from making the same mistake? A tiny bird diligently picks at fallen fruit. The fruits can't feel, so they don't mind. They left the tree that once grew on a long time ago with no connections remaining. Samsara. The tree, the bird, the fruit. Vital components of a system built on continuous life and death. For one to exist, the other must exist as well. A trade. The desire for food, greed of a kind, feeds the birds. The fruit is given life by the tree. Its purpose is simply to be delectable. It is desired by the bird for this very reason. Who benefits the most from this system? Not the bird, not the tree, not the fruit. The answer? The one that can bring them together in the most efficient manner. I enter my home. My home. It baffles me to this day. Me, a homeowner? Ridiculous. I leave my heeled boots in the rack out in the hallway. I hang my coat in its designated place. I stop my steps as a thought enters my mind. I trace back over what I did after I entered the door. I notice something I didn't at first. My boots, my coat, my accessories. Only mine. I rush into the living room. My eyes instantly lock themselves onto the kitchen table. The letter is gone. I stare at the empty table and time passes. I feel cold inside. Cold and abandoned. I get the feeling that my emotions have not yet reached me. I calmly sit down at the table and continue to stare at the emptiness. Maybe my inner self is doing everything it can to stop them from reaching me. Are you saying it would be easier that way? I think about what my life would be like without my oaf of a roommate. 1, 2, 3. As if the bottle containing my emotions reached its threshold, a switch is flipped. Emotions begin to flood me. Well, now I've done it. Did you seriously? Tears render my vision unreliable. One thing is for certain, though. The worn-out suitcase of his that never left the foot of his bed is no longer there. All of his belongings are nowhere to be seen. I take out my anger and frustration on the furnishings. My hand meets glass. Things crack and shatter. Most of all, my heart. Blood is trickling down from my hand towards my elbow. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. What kind of a loser am I? Throwing a fit over a friend's best chance of a career of his dreams. Unbelievably selfish. I utter these words to get a feel for them. They don't feel quite right, though. I know why one upset. He reached a decision, one that opposes my opinion, even after pouring all of my energy into openly devaluing the world I was once part of. I couldn't reach him. I feel as though I failed the most important duty I had in life. It hangs upon my shoulders like a sack of heavy weights, and it's bringing me down, physically. Soon I find myself on the floor. I've never put so much raw energy into something, and what did I get out of it? My best friend making the exact same mistake I did. What use is experience if you're too inept to get your truth across to those closest to you? You're useless. Useless. I'm useless. I'm useless. I'm useless. I press my thumb down on my glass-inflicted wound. That's more like it. The kind of pain I deserve. I head for the liquor cabinet. I pull out the nastiest of whiskeys and chug a respectable amount down. I exhale putrid alcohol fumes and immediately feel dizzy. Blood trails quickly down my arm, tickling me. Histamine's been released. I guess I ought to clean this up. Piece by piece, I take my clothes off. Once in the shower, the small wounds sting sharply as the scalding water hits them. It burns. It's only been a few minutes since the liquor hit my stomach, but my surroundings have already begun to waver. Steam rises from the floor and clouds my vision. My head feels heavy, and if I close my eyes, it's as if I'm in the middle of a stormy sea, slowly drifting away. Drifting away? Maybe that'd be for the best. I can't help anyone, and no one can help me. Gray, gray, gray. Everything's gray. The water, my walls, my skin. I'm a failure. I stumble into the familiar cafe in the mall. It's dark. To me, people's faces are blurry messes, and someone's rocking my world. Are there even any faces out there? It's hard to tell. Left, right, like ocean waves on a beach. Everyone's staring straight at me, or so it feels like. Hey, you. The details of her face are lost in my eyes, but I can tell who it is. Hey, you look a bit unsteady. How about you come sit down over here? Her voice is concerned. She flips the light switch. It becomes clear that the cafe is completely empty, but for me and her. I sit down next to her, then I break down. I start really loudly as I surrender myself to her welcoming embrace. Sweetheart. She embraces me. I have no one. I lost them all. Don't you worry. She strokes my back, saying waves of comfort over my trembling body. My only friend. He left me. She knows. I spend the rest of that evening bothering Etta. Out of sheer desperation, and of course after a fair bit of alcohol was consumed. Such an idiotic thing to do, really. But there I was in the arms of the owner of my favorite cafe, just having lost my best friend in the industry, and nothing seemed to help with the despair of being abandoned. Winter carries many associations for me, good ones and bad ones, but a strong negative one had now been added to my library of memories. I realize now that you need people close to you. Push the people that love you away, and one day you might end up like me. Miserable and lonely, desperate for genuine affection. Picky as I am, it couldn't be anyone's affection either, and it certainly hasn't done me any favors. That's why I'm so grateful for you, Charles. Or rather, I was grateful for you. Now you're gone. Look at me now, Mother. Aren't I disgraceful? The days passed after that night, and I didn't even bother calling Charles on his phone. I knew the decision he had made, and so had he. I can produce a guess as to why he chose this way of taking his leave. He simply knew I was far too clingy to ever allow him to leave if I had a chance to stop him. I'd hold on to his arm, allowing myself to be dragged through the snow as he made his way towards the train station. I smiled bittersweetly, just thinking about it. I suppose that's the kind of woman I am, and the fact that he realizes much feels strangely comforting. It's because he really knows you, silly. His departure was never going to be a comfortable one, and he knew how strongly I felt about it. I'm sure of it. This was his solution to the choices he stood before, and in a sense, I respect it. He knew what he wanted, and he didn't let my bias stand before his passion. It was still cruel, Charles. So very cruel. For a long time, I was a mess, and I still have a hard time accepting how it all went down. When I was a child, snowball fights were fun. Winters weren't lonely. The world was brushed over with white, so it felt like everything was undergoing a massive magical change. A great blurring out of emotions and nostalgia, building up into new ones. It was a truly wonderful time. I was taught in school, or was it from Mommy? I can't remember, but I was taught that snowflakes were special. Each one, when scanned closely, has its own pattern. Each one a star. Winter storms were the blasts of stars whirling in the winds, scattering over the buildings, brushing against the leaves. These stars contaminated the sights of the humans who walked down winter streets and felt cold. They were surrounded by these beautiful, intricate stars shimmering in the whiteness. Sadly, the cold was too harsh for them to see. That's why I feel that every winter has its own particular symphony, its own particular dance of notes which wind out of the blur into an individuality of stars. The violins, this breeze, the trumpets, that away. Cornucopias of song and sorrow played in the patterned beauties, and the humans who existed among them. Stars are intricate, distant things. Are stars hot or cold? I remember decorating my books with little 5-pointed stars when I was young. They seemed so close when drawn in such a fashion. The windows would rattle from the cold, and I, pressing my face against the glass, would see the snow and feel the stars all the closer as I breathed. The mists a breath hot, the stars of snowflakes cold. The stars in the night sky, infinitely immense engines of fiery gas. Which is true? Which is false? All of these are mythologies. Every human is an individual thing, for better or worse. Were I to cast out my song, my glance out into the open air, where would I be? A snowflake fell into the lap of a lonely one, burrowed in self-pity and rage. Another fell into the lap of a struggling one, plucking slowly at a guitar to loosen his fingers. Another, a girl so jubilant and young. Another, a normal working woman, walking on the last legs of life. What image of the star do each of them hold? Something different. Deep down, I've always feared I would vanish from their stares. Two months later. Still bitter about how it all went down, but happy it didn't turn out worse. As my newly purchased phone connects to my living room speakers, they give off a sharp series of crackling. Just for fun, I pretended to select Charles' number and hit call. No answer, of course. Just like the previous 57 attempts. But maybe I'd reach him on the 58th try, who knows. Not that I was keeping track or anything. Yes, there's a story here. A few weeks later, I had called him anyway, drunk, just to say goodbye. Perhaps too many times, though, all in one evening. I don't know if he had blocked my number or what, but after the way I had finally snapped at him over the phone, can't really blame him if that was the case. None of my calls had connected since then, not to Jenny or to Charles. In hindsight, I knew they were probably very busy, but I had still bothered them consistently. If the roles were reversed, I would have blocked me myself. But in a fit of rage over being rejected at full force, I had thrown my phone at the wall. The screen shattered into a million pieces. I gathered it off the floor and sent the bundle of useless plastic straight into the trash. I went and got a new one. All was well, except I had discarded the SIM card containing everyone's contact information. That was fine. I didn't need anyone anyway, and no one needed me. Or so I kept telling myself. We all knew why we'd made the choices we had, but it was obvious I was having trouble accepting it. Now for the real reason I connected my new phone to the speakers. I flip through its functions, find the radio, and select the correct channel. Then I turn up the volume. And next up we have the upcoming duo that seemingly appeared out of nowhere. The track you'll soon get to hear has after only 2 days, reached third place on our most played songs of 2018. Truly impressive. They took us all by storm, which makes the name of their debut song so fitting. Where storms don't exist. Anger quickly rises to my head. I make fun of the radio host. Truly impressive, huh? I shut the radio stream off promptly. Never mind. I don't need to hear it. On the table before me sits a row of empty bottles. My head is pounding. My heart is pounding. Seems I've recently been having trouble controlling my drinking. But who cares? No one cares. So why should I? I walk over to the hallway, grab my coat, and head towards the cafe on my day off. The familiar bell rings out as I step inside. Welcome, welcome. Etta has her back turned to me, but soon turns around and sees me. Well, 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 look what the cat dragged in. She says so in a joking manner and gives me a flirtatious smile. Hey. I sit down in my usual spot. Before I can even make an order, a cup of something light brown has been placed before me. She sits down next to me. You don't need to keep me company. But you know, I have to pay attention to my most frequent customers and give them the attention they deserve. It'd be a shame if they didn't show up here again, so I have to be as welcoming as I can be. It's part of my job. And a customer is exactly what you are right now, no? Besides, those who say that are those who need the company most. She blinks at me with the usual glint in her eyes. I exhale deeply. Can't fool you, can I? Oh no, dear, you're very welcome to try, but I wouldn't bother. I heard them on the radio. I instinctively turned my hand into a fist. And so did you. And that's what's bothering you today, isn't it? Do you know what my granny told me? You must let go of the things you love when the time comes. When the time comes. What exactly are we talking about here? Children, of course. But I have taken notice of the larger meaning of the words. You are not yet a parent, so luckily you don't know the feeling of watching your youngins leave the nest. Oh, my little Jenny. A scene from my past flashes before my eyes. You lose control of them. It's not a nice feeling after making sure they're safe and well for a good 20 years. But nonetheless, you must let them fly. Some you lose forever, but others... My mother lost me forever. She sure got the short end of the stick with me, huh? Maybe you'll have more luck, Etta. Say, Sophie, have you thought of having children? I become flustered. Children? Before I get the chance to answer, she goes on. It's the most rewarding yet most painful thing. You can't really prepare for any of it, but think of this as a taste of what's to come. I never said I want them. But you do, don't you? Yeah, I suppose so, someday. When the day comes for them to soar through the skies, let them. Know it's a day that will come and fear it not. It won't make it hurt less, I'm afraid, but it's part of what makes it so powerful. You'll make a wonderful mother, I'm sure of it. Out of nowhere, I begin to tear up. She hit a tangent that set my mind running. Emotionally loaded memories come to me. Mother, doorstep, my betrayal of her. Do you really think so? No. I knew it. Take your time. One day you'll find yourself at a crossroad, and you'll make the right decision, I'm sure. I already did. Are you saying I will manage to do so again? Thank you. You're very welcome. What do you say, one last milk tea before I send you on your way? Sure, that'd be great. I returned home that evening after an unexpectedly deep conversation with Etta. I had faced the fact that... I'm in shambles, but let them fly. I had faced the fact that I'm in shambles, simply put. It felt good admitting that I'm not at my best, but perhaps also that I should have more faith in myself. It'll give me time to recover, I thought. Once more I am faced with the usual front door of my house. My fist meets the cold wood, but I stop myself before I actually knock. There's no one home. And no one will be home for the foreseeable future. I retract my arm in dejection, and that's when I notice something. Unlocked. My mood is instantly lifted. He must have returned. After all, no one else has keys. I open the door and rush inside, yelling happily. Charles? I flip the power switch for the lights. Then again, and again. Pitch black. No Charles to be found. Instead, a silhouette hiding in the darkness of my living room. I flinch and almost stumble backwards. Why? A jolt ran through my body, telling me to flee. I look straight at the still silhouette, and I can only presume they're staring straight at me. Panic, panic, panic. My heartbeat elevates rapidly to painfully high levels within seconds. I suddenly feel cold all over. Do they not realize I can see them? The moonlight is the only thing aiding me in the situation. First thing I notice as my eyes grow used to the dark is how my house is in a shamble. I notice a crunchy substance under my foot. My intuition tells me it's shards of glass from the shattered lamps in my hallway. There's no doubt about it. They were intentionally destroyed for the scenario to play out. Just like this. Planned. That thought alone is enough to make my body begin its familiar trembling. It's you. You. My furniture's been moved around, some of it broken, some of it upside down. Scattered on my floor are pictures, his memories. I just wanted to be your friend. I just wanted to be your friend. You want more, but that's all I ever wanted. But you ignore me. You pretend like we don't know each other, like I don't matter to you. It's really, really painful, you know. What can I do to make you notice me? I ask myself. I tried everything. Then I thought it might be time for me to actually reveal myself before you. With the moonlight's assistance, I can now see the contours of his face. He's breathing heavily as he stares hypnotically right at me. Every time he inhales, something gets stuck in his throat for a brief moment, repeatedly giving off a highly unpleasant organic sound. This is me, and I love you. I love you. I forgive you for your sins. Tell me, won't you love me back? I see the contours of a careful smile in the dark. I snap. An emotion more powerful than fear. Yes, hatred. It wells up within me. The only thing I see is red. Fucking never, you disgusting freak. Get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of my life. His smile gradually fades out. Instead, it turns into a dark mask, brimming with resentment. I can hear his teeth grinding. He doesn't reply, and I realize my mistake as the seconds pass in silence. I'm alone in the same room together with my worst enemy. You're all the same, same. He begins to repeat his mantra as he moves closer to me. I never thought I'd be the stupid damsel in distress making the worst decision in a situation like this by hearing me hard. I guess I was finally presented with a way to unleash all my frustration, and I took it. Provoking your home invader. You're not very smart, are you, Sophie? It happened in the blink of an eye. A knee had swiftly impacted my chest. Now I'm on the floor, pinned down, gasping for air. It's hard to breathe. I try to move. I try to speak, but the man's weight is overpowering. As a reaction to my attempts, he shushes me. Then he leans over me. His mask is dark and warped. His soul's eyes stare right into mine. My ribs feel like they've endured something terrible. Did they break? Same. But the man stops in his tracks. From his eyes, tears fall, splashing all over my face. Why are you so beautiful? You're so perfect. This is not right. This isn't what was supposed to happen. Why won't you just love me like I love you? Just see me for what I am. Your biggest fan, the love of your life. Just ending kisses my cheek. It sends multiple waves of disgust throughout my entire body. I can't hurt you, so please don't hurt me. Won't you stop running from me, my dear Sophie? Jenny's tour. Then it dawned upon me. Is there perhaps a chance that on that day, Charles hadn't left on his own accord? What did you do? I'm met by the same warm smile, and he's taunting me. My rage is spiraling out of control, and I find it hard to contain. What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? I scream right in his face. It's as if my fear has vanished. Again, hatred is coursing through my veins. As I unleash a barrage of crude words towards him, I sense a shift in attitude. To be specific, the man's face turned into a clean slate. A clean slate of a boy's face. For that exact reason, I kept verbally abusing him. Mommy, Jacob is a good boy. Jacob didn't do anything bad. His grip around my arms is loosened as he's sent off into a delirium. Jacob is a good boy. Jacob is a good boy. You're a disappointment, you fucking weirdo. You filthy, useless waste of oxygen trash. Jacob doesn't like when Mommy yells at him. The man is clearly impressed. I'm beyond terrified of his behavior. I knew as much, but adrenaline has completely numbed me to it. You're a failure. You can't even play nice with girls you fancy. You're nothing more than an overgrown boy in a man's body. You'll never be a real man. Mommy. The man gradually closes his eyes as he sounds quietly. I exploit this opportunity to direct his lights. Weight and strength-wise, I have nothing on the sky. A comparatively balanced psyche might be enough to get me out of this. As optimally and quickly as before, I twist myself out of his straddle. There's that both of my heels flying right towards his face. My right heel meets his nose, now crushed in the other his left eyeball. He shrieks in pain as he topples over. I get up off the floor faster than I ever have. My heart is pounding violently, my mind racing. In a split second, I've made a decision. I run into the cold winter outside. On frozen solid earth, I run. As I run, I fumble, trying to dial the emergency number on my phone. My fingers are numb, however, and where they meet the touchscreen, I have no sensation left. I had noticed until now, but tears are running down my cheeks. How frustratingly obstructive of my vision they are. As I type in the emergency number, another number comes to mind. I see it so clearly, but when I try to spell it out, my mind draws blanks. Your other male friend is not on some tour. I erase the number I had already put in and enter another. Lastly, I hit call. It takes a while, but then the familiar notes of a bounced call resound. I try another number. I have to get it right soon. Come on, Sophie, think. Anxiousness builds up further within me with each second that no one picks up. Then it bounces. Damn it! It's useless, useless, useless. Why can't I remember? Even if you remember, he still won't pick up. They still won't pick up. A new wave of warm tears runs down my cheeks. But he really did something to you, didn't he? I'm not looking at anything in particular, but I couldn't even if I wanted to. It'd all be a blurry mess to my eyes. Shit, shit, shit. I cancel the call and rapidly punch in the emergency number. On the other side, someone picks up. What's your emergency? The woman's voice is full of warmth, the contrast to the frozen world around me. Her voice radiates a heat that seems to thaw my insides just slightly. As I attempt to reply to the woman's seemingly simple question, I find myself confused. My voice is shaky, and I can't seem to produce the words I was aiming to convey. I wonder why that is. It's okay. I can tell you're moving, so stop in a safe place and take a few calm breaths. I follow her instructions and stop at a corner, a few blocks away from my house. As per her instructions, I take a few breaths. The thick mist before my eyes seems to dissolve just a bit, and I think to myself that maybe my thoughts can reach my mouth this time. I'm so scared. Okay, what are you scared about? There was a man in my house. He was waiting for me. I'm going to need your address, okay? I live at... He might still be there. Got it. And where are you now? Are you in a safe place? Just a few blocks away, and I'm cold. I'm really cold. I'm trembling. My arms and legs both feel numb, as if sedated. reminds me of that one time, but mentally I'm certain I'm not incapacitated by a substance other than fear. You're outside? Please seek refuge in the nearest possible store, cafe, or anything like that, okay? Okay. Take note of where you enter and let me know. I'll send someone over, okay? Right. Also, I begin to sob once again. He said he's got my friend. I sought refuge in the nearby grocery store. Where my stockings would normally meet the floor, they've ripped, making the numb sole of my feet make direct contact with it. People stared at me as if I was crazy, adding another layer of discomfort to the situation. Naturally, they couldn't have known. When a clerk finally hesitantly approached me, after a convoluted explanation, I was somehow able to get the current situation across. Once the situation had been made clear to the other employees, they brought me blankets and a hot drink. After only a few minutes, a police officer showed up. I don't exactly remember in what order things happened, but I remember them taking a statement from me, asking me a slew of unexpected questions. They included but were not limited to, where do you work? Do you have any family that live nearby? And any friends we could call? No, I don't, I replied. A blanket statement, and that was the end of that. Furthermore, I'm dumb, so I declined all help, despite them insisting on it. In some twisted way, I suppose I felt guilty for even considering receiving help from someone. Then we got a call saying they'd apprehended a suspect and that the house was clear. It was my turn to insist now. I told them I wanted to go home and that they should put all their energy into finding out what happened to Charles. They kept telling me I was also a victim, that Charles is probably fine, and that they were already looking into it. Eventually, they accompanied me home. We'll stick around outside for a while, so try to get some sleep. If you need anything, we'll be right outside, and if we aren't, you have our number. I couldn't relax, though. I knew I wouldn't be able to from the very start, because of the words the man left me with. Is Charles safe? Right before leaving the police by my doorstep, I had turned around towards them once more. Did he say anything about my friend? The man, I need to know. I'm afraid not. He was in a regress state when we found him, unable to convey any meaningful information. We're currently looking into places he may have visited recently. He's not a resident of the city, however, so there's not much to go on around here. All I know is that he has no driver's license and came here by train. But he must have stayed somewhere. He's been around, stalking me. I'm sorry, I have nothing else to report right now. We will contact you once we know more about your friend's situation. The number's right. As for your friend, we're already following up on the leads you gave us. You said it was some kind of agency, line something. We'll also go ahead and attempt to contact your friend's family. The best thing you can do right now is try to rest up and take care of yourself. We'll be here if you need us. I had trouble letting go. Still do, because if he really did something to Charles, a great deal of time could have passed. He wasn't registered here, and no one knew he lived here. So if he by chance didn't show up where he was supposed to, they'd have no way of contacting me. I hope you aren't out there somewhere suffering, Charles. That'd bring me great pain. When the police had left, the stress of the passing day had taken its toll on me. The last thought I had before I passed on my bed was a rationalizing one. There's nothing more I can do, right? In various crises, the one thing the brain always wants is to comfort itself, isn't it?